Um, Today it's at, I am just before 1 p.m. Let me turn this fan off over here. Sorry. It's a little windy going on over here. I feel like I'm in a wind tunnel. Okay. One less noise in the studio. Today I'm working on some new products and I am trying to I'm doing the first test of this one and it's turning out pretty good. I am not 100% with the edging, but I think I can sand that off. But they look like this and they're super cute. I'm checking the glare to see where the resin is. So they are wood disc with a little mouse head in it. And then I put in a resin mix with glitter on the first layer of resin. And then I drop another layer of resin and crushed glass and cure. Well, you have to cure in layers because it's not translucent on the bottom, so you have to do them in really thin layers. And so anyway, the first layer is I use a mix of resin and glitter, so it's silver glitter in the bottom, cure, and then I use another thin layer of resin, and I sprinkle in little crushed glass, which in this case is kind of like a rose gold crushed glass, and then another layer of resin on top of that. Now I do see, like this edge, I'm not very super happy with that. Let me see if I can grab I didn't bring all my tools over here. My phone's telling me it's 1 o'clock. That's usually when I take lunch. Um, I'm grabbing a couple filing tools that I use on resin. I have one that's in like an engraver, like an etcher, and then one you would normally use like on your nails, but it's really good for resin work. And hopefully I can get off some of that edge. So if you can bear with me a minute, I'm gonna try to, I've got the camera on a tripod. When I say camera, you guys are on my phone today, so welcome to the live from the phone. Hello, hello. I am making new products. I'm gonna try to flip the phone to the desktop, or the tabletop is what we call it here, and get it set for you guys to see. I did spill my crushed glass, of course. So let me get you guys down here. Hello, hello, welcome. Let's turn this camera around. If I can undo it here. You're gonna see the ceiling for a second, and then I'm gonna turn you guys around. So don't get sick, you guys. Okay. Just imagine you're on a ride. Okay, we're gonna do this hopefully like this. And you'll see my tripod because that's the way it's rolling today. Okay, you guys are going to defy gravity right here. So this is what I'm making. I have to turn it this way for you guys to see it the right direction. So this is what I'm making. It takes quite a bit of time. I will try, this was the first one I worked on right now. Let's see if I can lower the camera down. Tripod. Woo wee! That was fun, right? Hello, hello, everybody tuning in. And sorry for the tripod. I just wanted to do it from my phone today, the live. If you go onto our channel, we also do regular studio vlogs every day. And you can check that out. And today we're on the phone. So Please bear with me on that, because I'm also putting up here on the monitor so I can see you guys if you're sending, and I totally misspelled stuff, so yay. The monitor. What are we doing? We're making, let me turn this volume off. Hold on. Ow, my head. We're making, let me hold on. So this is live, guys. Okay, there we go. All right, what are we doing today? So today we are making these little pendants, and I also thought about making these as bag charms, but I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do that. So we are using resin, we're using crushed glass, and this is what they look like before I actually resin them. So this, and so I'm going to do one here live, and you guys can see the process. And I did spill my crushed glass just moments before I went live, so yay. And it is real glass, so it will puncture your skin if you're not careful. So I'm gonna put it in a nice neat little pile here. There we go. Okay, so if you are tuning live, thank you. This is the process. So I have glued these embellishments onto the wood disc. So these are just plain wood little disc that I get. Yeah, I have to be careful because it will cut my fingers. So it's not super duper sharp, but it can actually cut. I use, this is the UV resin that I use. And yes, I'm using UV resin. And I'll try to bring this up close and do this in my hand, which is not always the ideal thing. So in this case, I'm dropping in just a few drops of the resin. You'll have to bear with me. If I were doing this from the computer, it'd be a little bit of a different world, but today we're doing it on the phone. I take this resin and do one even coat on the bottom first, and I may have to add more to it for sure, but I like to get it started off on the edges first. We're gonna need more. Of course we're gonna need more. We're gonna need a lot more, actually. So yeah, you can leave it in the sun. The one thing about doing the resin, UV resin, in something that is not transparent on the bottom, such as like a mold, I use molds as well, the cure time is going to be a lot different, but you can use it in the sunlight as well, because obviously the sun is giving you so much UV rays. I am in South Florida, so the UV index is always super high, even on cloudy days. So yes, you can just put it in the sun, but you'll have to do really thin layers when you're doing something that's not translucent all the way through. Like in just a second, I'll get a mold out and show you what I'm talking about. We can pour one in a mold too. I actually need to make some resin keychains because I'm almost out of those, and I am getting ready for an event. We don't have any of these products on our website yet because I do an opening at an event first, and then we'll bring it to our website. And so basically I have one layer of resin, and you might be able to see how shiny it is. So that's one layer, and I always take a little toothpick and bring it all the way to the edge of whatever I'm applying the resin to. That way you just ensure that it's touching all the edges. Now here's the magic. So I keep, let's put this down for a second. I keep this resin, as long as this does not hit the UV light, this resin stays pliable for a very long time. And in here is just very fine silver glitter. And I always keep this in a plastic container locked up, so I don't spill it everywhere. It is in this is a yogurt jar, and basically this, as long as I keep it out of the sun or away from the UV light, it still stays pliable. So what I do is I just have and drop in a teeny tiny of this premix. It doesn't take a lot, so I just touch it in here, and that's almost enough for the entire bottom. So I'm going to move this to the side and grab my toothpick again and just start moving this around. I don't want it heavy glitter on this one. Some of my products that I make, I do a heavy glitter pour, especially in the molds. Let's see, maybe we will put a little bit more on the top. I thought I would be able to work that around, but we'll do some more on the top. So I'm just going to take this, I'm spinning it a little bit just to do that. If I touch it to the resin there, give it a little spin so you pull that off, and just work it around, pushing it with the toothpick. It will float naturally in the resin, but it will also, after it settles, it will sink towards the bottom layer of the resin. So we're just going to move it around, and when you're happy with that, then we're going to put it under the UV light. And while it's under the UV light, I will show you what it would look like if you use it in a clear mold. Okay, so we've got this one layer. Let's see if I can show you guys of that. We don't put the crushed glass in until the second layer of resin. The UV light that I have here is pretty powerful. It actually has two sides. So if you are using something translucent, you can actually cure from the top and the bottom at the same time. And I cure this for 3 minutes. So while that's curing for 3 whole minutes, this is what takes long, is curing it. And yes, I could take it outside, as we mentioned before, but sometimes you just want to make stuff in the studio and get it done. And I have to find something I'm going to mold for you guys. And I usually do my molds on a silicone mat. I have I'm doing a whole theme with Disney related products right now, because I have an event, like a fandom event, and I'm trying to see if I have a clear mold. I don't have any clears. We're gonna make a stitch one as well today. I'm actually gonna probably pour 4 of those, maybe 3. I have a new one from my collection. This one is the Cinderella carriage. I have not poured that one yet. And then I'm going to show you guys a clear mold, how that works. I thought that maybe I had a clear Disney one, but I don't. So let's make a cat. We'll just make a clear one with the cat mold. These are silicone molds, and you just want to make sure that it's nice and clean. You can clean it out with your fingers. So, and I use this one a lot. You'll see it's got glitter on it. And to pour these, we're just going to set it here for right now. Basically, I fill them one layer of the regular resin. The same process, I like to do one small layer first just to get it in there. And then when I add one of my glitter mixes, then we can fill it up with some glitter and then top it off again. Now you don't have to do this one in multiple layers because it's translucent. So when I put it into the UV light or under UV light, it will actually go through the whole thing. So I'm just going to grab some of my pre-mix and drop it in. And you can add as much glitter as you want. I really think that pre-mixing your resin with glitter is a way better option, just for the fact that it will take a lot of time to stir it if it's not pre-mixed. So I'm just going to go in here and give it a little spin around. And now I'm going to add another. Basically, I'm going to fill it up with clear, just regular resin. Well, this is UV resin, of course. Fill it up. And when you do this, you want to kind of make sure you're on a nice level surface so it doesn't spill out over the edges. I'm just going to manipulate the glitter a little bit. You can use UV dyes. They make all kinds of different dyes. You can use mica powder in the resin as well. So I'm just giving it a stir. And sometimes I like to add a little embellishment into mine. Let's see. What embellishment shall we add to this one? Maybe we will add, let me see, I have in my drawer down here, I have a lot of different embellishments. In this case, oh, I should get my little, I have some Hello Kitty ones somewhere. But in this case, we're going to put a little bow. Oh, with UV light, that was the first layer of the mouse pendants. I have these little embellishments like this, and I'm gonna add, I think I'll add a pink one because that's cute. And I'm gonna take this here and I'm gonna actually drop it in the resin and push it to the bottom, but try to let it float a little bit so it's not sitting completely on the bottom. And then we're going to put this under the UV light. So let me see if I can focus. Put this one under the UV light, and I'll take the other one out. We already did this one. I'm going to put this one under here. Let that one cure. So now this right here is completely cure with the first layer of glitter. Now it does look pretty good just like this. I don't mind them looking like this, but when you add the other elements to it, I think it just looks cuter. So on this case, I'm going to add another coat of resin. Now that this is real slick and the resin is in there, the resin will really flow around the shape of the mouse head. And I'm going to add that in. Of course, take my little toothpick, give it a good little push around the edges. And then it will float a lot better now that you have one coat of resin in there. I'm just gonna make sure it's nice and even. Sometimes I tap it, give it a little tap on the table, or in this case on the UV light that's cooking the other one right now. So we've got that. That helps get some air bubbles in. Now you can actually use, to remove air bubbles, if you have one of these little lighters, you can click the lighter and just go across it really quick. The heat of the fire will bring all the air bubbles up to the top. So it will pull the air bubbles and they pop and then they're gone. So that's a lot of fun to do. It's like on Bug's Life when they go flaming death. Anyway, so I'm going to take some of this crushed glass, and I just have a pinch of it, and I'm going to pinch it in here. Now, if you have a tool like, I'll show you, sometimes you can find these little tiny scoops. I'm trying to scoop it up, but it's on the table, so and take and tap those in there. I am watching my time because I do have an appointment I have to go to later. So I have that in there and give it a little tap. Woo, watch out for the crushed glass if it's sticking to your fingers. You do not want it to cut you. Make sure it's off my fingers. Now give it a little swirl again. I like to do this to push the glass down into that coat of resin. I hope you guys are enjoying this. So, thank you. Thanks for the wow. If you are new here, I do go live every day. I'm not always doing and making art, but a lot of times I am. So, I make art and I live creative every day. What is this little green? What is that? Get out of there. What are you doing in there? So apparently my green glass got into the pink glass, which is a cute color combination, by the way. So I just go in and tap it around and just manipulate where all of this glass sits, and it will stay in place. So once you put it where you want it, it should stay there. So I'm just gonna touch some here. And now this one here, sorry I wasn't so close. This one has the one layer of glitter and now one layer of glass. I always try to tilt it a little bit to see and make sure all the glass is under the resin. Just make sure it's all down in there. Okay, I think it's all down there. So the UV light is almost finished here with 22 seconds. I'm going to actually just go ahead and stick it under here and let it go. Let it go, let it go. And I'm going to grab the cat head because it should be done. So the cat head here has been in there. Now the resin does get hot, so just to let you know. So be careful. I'm going to cook this one for 3 minutes, and I can see and feel that it is not a liquid form anymore. You can see, well, let me turn it the right direction for you guys. And if you pop it out of the mold, you get this. Let me see if I can find a solid color for you guys to see the, can you see it better on top of this? And there it is, a little cat with a bow inside of it. So super cute, super fun, very easy to do. So if you are ever interested in doing resin art, it's super easy. You should use caution. I mean, technically you should use gloves, but I've been doing this for so long, I know where and how it's going to work. So, but that's a piece like that. Now what I'm going to do is I do need to make some of these little stitch keychain ones. And with this one here, they already have this little piece here, which will make the hole for the keychain to go into. And like I said, I only have like a couple of these left. People love the stitch keychains. And I mixed that. Let me see if I have it's the mixture. So this is the plastic container that has them all pre-mixed in. I'm going to take this one out. This is the blue. I love this glitter. This blue glitter is so pretty. And I don't know what brand it is because I took it out of its original container, but it's light blue. I use these condiment things you can get at like a dollar store or small box stores. You can find that. And since there's not a lot in here, so you can see this is still pliable. This has been in here for like a year, you guys. It has been in here for a really long time. Now some glitters will actually transfer color into the resin, and you may not want that. So all I do is I put a ton of glitter, because this one is a pretty solid glitter piece. I squeeze a lot of glitter in here. And this is to make, I'm going to make like 3 of these total. So I'm going to mix up my batch of resin. Close the lid before you get glitter bombed all over your desk. And with this, I'm just going to take the resin here. I'm going to pour it in this cup. Now, note that the cups are not clear. It's a white cup. You can use whatever color cup you want. Just don't use clear, because in case you are working around your lamp, your UV lamp, or such, you don't want it to cure in the cup. This will stay good for quite some time. So I'm just adding in the UV resin, and yes, it takes a lot of resin. And then I'm just going to mix it slowly. I don't want to get a lot of air bubbles in there. So I turn this glitter over and over in there just to get it all mixed through. And yes, it will get air bubbles in it, but we can, if it still has them when I pour these, it will actually, we'll use the little fire stick here, and not like an Amazon fire stick, but a tiny flamethrower. We'll use that to pop the bubbles. Now, because my mold for this one is not translucent, I will be doing this in several layers. So you can tell when it's pretty mixed. So you can see that every turn is just full of glitter. And that's what we want. We want a magic full of glitter. So we have that ready to pour into a silicone cup. Now the silicone cups, where are they? Where are they? I have one here. This one has some really old. Let's see if I can. I wonder if I got a new one. Probably not. Ultimately, if you use a silicone cup, it's a lot easier to pour them. Let's see. Oh, I found one. And when I say a silicone cup, they make these. In fact, the resin that I purchased, this resin comes with 1 or 2 of these. Well, I guess it's 2 because I buy a 2-pack of those, that resin. So I'm just going to make sure there's no dust in there. Just clean it out. And I will take this mixture and put it in this cup. It's going to be just a little bit easier to pour. So when I pour this in here from my mixing cup, and I always leave these sticks. These are just little wood tiny craft sticks that I use. I leave them in there because my box covers them and I can use them over and over and over. So here's the mix. Look how pretty this blue is. It is so sparkly. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. So all I'm gonna do is basically, oh, I see something in this mold. Hold on. It's got some dust in it. I don't want the dust in there. Try to get that stuff out of there. I have a little paper towel here as well. It still has some blue glitter in this, which is fine. That's not a big deal. But you want to make sure that it doesn't have anything else in there. Okay. All right. Now, let me put this here. Here's a little cat. We just made that. Oh, I rhymed. And by the way, this is finished curing with the glass coat. So it's not sharp anywhere. It's nice and good. Before we pour the stitch one, we're going to do one more top coat over the glass coat. And it's not going to take very much. Just a little circle around because it's already pretty full. And let me just push it to the edge and bring it around. So the process of this is actually quite long, but if you make them in bulk, I do have a whole bunch of them lined up here, and I will make them at probably like 6 at a time. But
From your calendar. Tiny News Tuesday live on Instagram 2 p.m.
oh,
Starts in 30 minutes.
My personal assistant that's named Alexa, she just told me my schedule. I have her programmed to tell me everything. Because when I'm on here live, I forget what time it is sometimes, and I'm just like rambling on and on and on and on and on. So, if you can see, it's pretty nice and even. Give it a little tap. Now I did touch the edge here. I'm just going to take my tiny little paper towel and I'm going to wipe that off, because if you cure this resin in a place you don't want it, you will have to file it off, sand it off, try to get it off, and I don't want it on the outside edge of this. I'm just going to tap it a couple times. And then I will flame through it. Flaming death! And just take this around the top. If you are a kiddo watching this, just do this with your adult that's nearby. I'm going to put that one in. Once again, a 3-minute cure. Let's pour this stitch. So I'm just going to take the silicone cup and I'm going to start dropping it in the biggest part of the mold. Okay. And it will spread out by itself, but you need to push it in if you are working with a mold that is a keychain type of mold and it has the little piece here. You do need to make sure it goes in there. And you can move this around. I am going to layers because it's not translucent, but I do want a nice even coat for the first one in all parts of it. And I know this is upside down for you guys. Let me turn it around. Sorry about that. So we're just going to mix it in. It even has a little notch there because Stitch has a boo-boo on his ear. So we're going to move it all in there, make sure it goes all the way around the top here. And if you don't have enough for it, if it does a separation at the bottom, then you can just, I'm going to push this back over, add a touch more. I don't want it right there. Move that off of there. Okay, so it is opening up in the middle. That just means that we just don't have enough in the mold for the first coat. Just going to drop a touch more in. Okay, put this to the side and just give it a little, move it around a little, make sure it's nice and even. Give it some tapping. If you take the molds and just drop them down, you can see it's all, when you're doing them with the mold, especially a larger mold, you can definitely see that all the edges are filled. Now, just to be safe, flaming death over this to pop any kind of air bubbles that may be in there. You can't really see them when you're using a lot of glitter, but if you do this over this a couple times, that fire will pull them out. I'm going to give it a couple taps. I'm going to go ahead and put it under the light while the other one is cooking as well. Let's stick that in there and give it its, and we'll redo the timer in just a minute. Now this is the mold I have been wanting to use, but this is so thin right here. I don't know how it will turn out, so I'll have to test it. And I think in true Cinderella form, you have to either choose pink or blue, right? Hi! Thanks, Katie. Thanks for tuning in. Nice to see you. So, I'm going to, maybe we'll use the same blue. Do I have a lighter blue? I don't think I have a lighter blue. I have a darker blue. I think that this blue will be fine with this, but I don't want it as intense. So, let's do it. Let's just go for it. And like I said, this mold is not translucent. So when you do this one, it has a lot of detail in it. So you have to do it layer by layer. And I'm just going to start pushing in one coat of the resin first, and then we'll have to move it around with a toothpick just to start it out. There are some air bubbles. If you have it clear, you'll see the air bubble like right there. If you lift the air bubble, sometimes you can do that with a toothpick and pop them. And this has not purple, but blue glitter on it, so that's fine because we're going to use the blue glitter on this one. I'm just going to sit here with the toothpick and manipulate it around. Our light just went off, so we will get the little pendant out. And we'll turn the light back on for the stitch one because it's not in there long enough. And I just want to follow the lines of the mold for the first mold of this. I thought about doing this in clay as well. You can use silicone molds also with polymer clay. which is kind of fun too. If you do use silicone molds with polymer clay, you should use cornstarch. I'll do that in another video. We'll use some polymer clay with these molds. So I'm just trying to fill in like a first initial coat. Like I've not even used this mold before because I'm kind of scared of it. Alright, this one is done, guys. That one's completely done. You can see the resin is pretty much all set up. And yay, that's cute. So that's another one done. And what I do is I do drill a hole in here and put an eye pin. Let me see if I can pull one out of here. I have these very tiny eye pins. They get drilled into here and glued. And they become either a pendant or maybe a bag charm and those kinds of things. Now, my time is getting close that I'm going to have to head out of here, but I will post here on my YouTube channel what happens with the Cinderella one. I know, but my time is up for the day for right now. Maybe I come back live later, I don't know. I've got a lot of work to do, so maybe I will. So I'm just dropping in some of this blue glitter into the carriage portion of this. And then I'll start the curing process. Just want to space it out evenly. So, yeah. This has been my first live of the day. I might come on later, I don't know. I do go on here at least once a day, every day. So consider subscribing if you want to get artsy with me. So this is what I have so far with this carriage. I am going to go ahead and cure this because you can cure over and over and over. I'm going to stick it in here. Why not? We'll let it do its magic going on in there. Y'all want to see the stitch one. This is the way it's turning out so far. I'm going to keep it in there a little bit longer though. When I do the stitch ones, because it's not a translucent mold like this, I will take it and pop it out and cure the other side. And sometimes I will put a light coat of resin to give it more of a dome look. So anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for tuning in. Let me see if I can flip the camera back to normal here. Come back. Let me come back to you. Sorry for the crazy spin around there. Welcome to the ride. This is your roller coaster ride for the day. All right. So that's how I do resin here in the studio. So if you did tune in live, thanks so much, and thanks for sticking around to the end here. And yeah, here's the one we made right here. Cute, right? So, oh, and let's not forget our little kitty that we made too. I'm not really happy with the bow in there. So this was a trial. I'll do another one. So, all right, guys. I'll see you next time. And next time is usually tomorrow, but I might come on later tonight. So thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you later. Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, goodbye, bye-bye, 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 bye-bye. Oh, where's the button? Is that the button? Okay.